Hello dear chess friends and welcome to our new video. In that video I'll present the game played between Garry Kasparov and Ulf Andersson in Interpolis tournament played in Tilburg in Netherlands in 1981. You will see very strange performed opening play by Ulf Andersson, so fine strategician and so fine positional player, and you will see how Garry Kasparov managed to go for a brutal punishment over careless black play and so strange play. You will see that black decided to neglect development in early stage of opening, and you will see what happened. Now it's time to switch to the game. d4 Kasparov initial move, and knight f6 was played by Ulf Andersson. It was for respect to Ulf Andersson will play some kind of defense with fianchetto in queenside bishops. He was a real master of playing hedgehog positions, and after c4 he played e6, knight f3. He didn't go for Bogo Indian with bishop b4. No, he rather played b6 with idea to switch to Queen Indian defense. After b6 white played a3. That is the, as I if I remember well, that is patent of Aaron Imzovic, who preferred to play like this to prevent bishop b4 check, and later successfully was adopted by Petrosyan and finally with Garry Kasparov. a3, bishop b7, knight c3, and black played very strangely knight e4. That is a solid approach, but only if white bishop is already activated on g2. So for instance, you can find in that video course games Semish Nimzovic and Fuster Pogats, where after bishop e7, g3 castling, it was given that black is perfect after knight e4, and d5 is also playable move. What is idea of knight e4 in that moment? After white takes, black can take back, and the bishop from e4 can be removed only after knight f3 moves, which will lead to exchanging light square bishops, which would be very good for black. On the other hand, eliminating bishop after moving rook from f1 to e1 after casting and moving bishop to f1 and then moving knight would be too slow and could not be advised to white. So in our game, black played knight e4 immediately. I don't know what is idea of Ulf Andersson behind that move, but definitely looks like he wanted to go for some original play. Yes, Garry Kasparov was very inventive player and he had always very good preparation, but playing originally against Garry was, I think, even the worse. So after knight e takes e4, normal move, bishop e4, immediately Garry played knight e2. Using the fact pawn is not on g3, bishop is not on g2, white sets problem in front of black. Maybe not direct problem, but dilemma. And now very badly psychological approach were performed by Ulf Andersson in that moment. Black didn't play bishop b7, which would be natural and good, where after e4 gaining space, which could be expected from white, queen f6 is very interesting move and very good move for black. So you can try some other moves like d6, like bishop e7, all that would be good, I think, but queen f6 is very promising, I think. In the game, black played bishop g6. So very often you can see vanity on chessboard in action. So players who feel they have some problem with some piece, immediately after that piece gets active and after it gets attacked, they don't move that piece back to previous spot. No, they want to change spot for that piece, and bishop g6 is now very bad. You'll see that bishop g6 does not affect on center very well. Bishop on b7 would affect very well on center because it does not only fights against e4 but also prevents g3. Also, if white plays e3, still that bishop prevents bishop d3 or bishop e2 because pawn g2 would be under attack. So bishop b4 affects better on the center, and also that bishop would be safer. So does that mean bishop on g6 is not safe? Well, dear chess friends, you will see the point very soon. Yes, that bishop is not so safe on g6. g3, first white sets bishop on good diagonal, and after that first e3. White avoids some dirty tricks like this because it would be bad for white to take. Now that would give excellent play for black, but I think also queen a8 targeting both white rooks after castling would give black excellent chances after this. So doesn't matter, black is not allowed to complicate. Why? He can go for knight c2 with, I think, very good play. After king f1, yeah, now that would be correct to take, attacking two rooks, and white would be just lost. So after knight c6 there is e3 and a6 b4. Very interesting idea of Garry Kasparov. He wants to prove that black move a6 is nonsense, and that is really nonsense. I may understand black wants to play d5 without allowing c takes d5. So after bishop, after e3, black played a6 with idea after that not to play this, of course, because there will be problems with that two pieces with queen to b3, almost horrible for black. No, black, I think black intended after that to play b5, and after that is exchanged, then to block position forever with d5, playing for maybe going for passive position, but still very stable position after this. So after that white played b4, allowing white to go for b5, but still keeping bishop on f1. And one may say, okay, bishop e7 is normal move, where after bishop b2 or let's say h4 white keeps solid advantage. But one may ask, why not b5 right now? To use the fact after cb, ab, white cannot play this, because after knight b4 black will have excellent game. Actually b5 was played here, but after c takes b5, which happened, I don't think that would be specifically good for white because black has d5. White wanted just to open position, having space advantage, having better development. But now, of course, not bishop b5, just bishop b2 calm move. And suddenly and surprisingly, black is in horrible situation. He cannot activate bishop from f8 because pawn g7 needs defense. So after that, I think that is just hopeless for black. Also, of course, there is taking pawn for free, yes. Also, black must take care about b5 pawn. What to do right now? Rook b8, knight a7. What else? Well, nothing else. Queen b8 is just terrible. There is no point for this. Rook on a8 works nothing, so maybe rook b8 was better way to defend the pawn, keeping knight in the center. But black played knight a7. Maybe he immediately wanted to set pawns this way and to transfer knight to c4, but as you can see, it is white on the move and white goes for direct action. My dear chess friends, e2 is okay here, bishop g2 is okay as well. It is okay for white also to sacrifice pawn temporarily d5 to prevent black d5. So that would not be promising so much for white, because black will cement position in the center and install knight on c4. So should white play d5? Well, probably yes. Actually, of course, yes, definitely yes, but it is much better to do after h4. It is important to leave g6 bishop without protection. Very soon it will be clear. After h6 or h5, h5 will weaken square g5. Black must take care about it. So after h6, there is d5 for white. And why now d5? Well, after white plays d5 now, black is practically forced to take. There is nothing better he can do because he cannot successfully finish development due to permanent pressure on g7. After that, bishop g2, c6, and now look, knight a7 is really imprisoned. Bishop f8, rooks and queen not activated. Bishop g6 on bad spot. So white powerful bishop scissor are cutting the board, are splitting the board, and white has dangerous initiative on the king side. You'll see castling. Before any action, white makes his king safe, and now you can see black is unable to finish development way. That's why he played f6, but now white gets very important tempo of queen g4. For some reason white played first rook e1, and after that no way, black will not make castling. Right now, after bishop is moved from f8, right now white plays queen g4, and if black moves, there is capitulation after king g7, queen takes g7. There is king f7 must, and now you can of course guess white move. If you said e4, you will be right, but it is better first to play h5. You'll see why, because now e4 is played. Let me say that e4 immediately would not be as good because black will have h5 intermediate move, and white queen must leave its active position. So after white played h5, black moves the bishop, and after e4 it is time for white to crush opponent's situation in the center. On the king side, there is nothing we can suggest good for black, and black decided to die for something. Of course, he is pawn up, and he decided to play awful position, but with extra pawn, hoping he will somehow survive. And now question for you, dear chess friends, how to take back. Bishop h7 looks like main defender of black king, and white correctly decided to exchange that bishop. There is no action for white bishop on g2. There is no action on that longest diagonal. Bishop cannot get d5 spot to target black king, so I decided to exchange it for black bishop on h7. One may say black king can go to g6 and h7 liberated spot for the king h7, but no, that is not possible. Even if possible, there will be always some annoying check. Queen f5 for queen g6. Taking, and now of course white joins knight to the play. Looks like that joining knight to the play is nonsense, because black has chance to bring his knight to the play like this, to block d file and to cement the position, or maybe to exchange white knight. Looks like there is no action with that knight. All squares are covered. It can be exchanged or just taken for free, but white has excellent possibility. I'm sure that possibility was so early predicted by Kasparov. Rook a d1, forcing black to go for weakening his structure. If d5, white can move knight with queen e5 check. Queen e6 check in some moment. Black decided to play rook a7, but now white goes for some tactic operation. If you lead game perfectly in strategical manner, in some good moment, some tactic must occur to help you to realize your advantage. And what is the tactic white can go for here, dear chess friends? Can you find it? Well, as you can see, there is beautiful possibility for white. I hope you found that move, knight f6. Why is knight f6 so dangerous? Well, you'll see. If bishop takes, there will be disaster for black after that move. After that, white can take, and black must not take with a queen because of mate. And if black takes with a pawn, there is disaster after rook e6. That was the move very well prepared by white, and as you can see, black collapses. Just take a look on white angry pieces attacking black king. Just take a look on white dangerous artillery targeting black king and queen as well. So after that, black must take with pawn, queen g6, king f8, and now white can go for something else, maybe even for rook e6, but there is no need to complicate. White just has perfect continuation bishop c1. After bishop c1 attacking h6, black would be practically forced to give away a rook for a bishop, and white would stay with rook for 2 pieces with so dangerous pawn on h file, which would decide the game. But after that, black played d5 very cleverly. There is no pressure on d5 anymore, and rook will go for defending the 7th rank right now. How to continue for white? Bishop h6 would be good, but even more dangerous is rook d4. White uses the fact black cannot move the rook, because if rook g8, then bishop h6 will win and spot, and white has time to organize rook g4 threatening queen g7. Black cannot prevent it, because after queen e8, okay, now with already activated rook, now white will play this, and rook g4 would be next move, will brutal win. So now let me show you some beautiful variation. After the check, if that happens, if black prevents queen g7 with this, there will be another beautiful mate with queen g6. So after rook d4, black played knight d6. What to do now is white. What would be continuation leading to the win? Well, rook g4, of course, threatening queen g7, but knight f7. Defensive idea, defending both rook and pawn h6. What to do as white? I'm sure even in that moment Kasparov knew what to do. I'm sure his next powerful move was predicted so much earlier, and as you can see, there is powerful strike of bishop h6. No, that move is not prevented at all. If rook takes, there will be queen g8, so beautiful mate, and if knight takes, there will be check, and after that, let me show you, black will collapse because even knight is taken. Playing that position against Garry Kasparov with exchange down and pawn down and so exposed king is just ridiculous. Amazing game, amazing masterpiece performed by Garry Kasparov, and let me once again pay attention on key moments in the game. First of all, knight e4, too early played move, but after this still that would not be so bad for black in case of bishop b7. e4 maybe would be premature, but on the other hand, white must go somehow for finishing development. Queen f6 would be good response. Maybe in that moment, white will go for, I don't know, maybe e3, knight f3 back, maybe b3, bishop b2 first to defend that pawn and then to organize e4. But okay, bishop g6 was played, and now Kasparov show why always he was one of the most dangerous attacker, one of the most dangerous attackers of all time. e3 first, and after a6, black wants to play b5. Okay, let's him play, but now he is in problem because pawn b5 is under attack, and knight a7, very bad decision. And because now after d5, black cannot finish development at all. Pawn g7 is under attack. Attacking d5, castling, striking on e file, and playing queen g4. Just in the moment, black played bishop e7. Playing this time queen g4 would be bad because black has just this, and maybe black will survive with king in the center. He would intend maybe to play h5 and maybe somehow to castle even long, who knows. So rook e1, bishop e7, queen g4, king f7, and finally h5, very important move. If e4, black will kick white king out of attacking position on g4. So first h5, and after bishop h7, white managed to exchange that bishop, and after rook d1, there was no problem for Kasparov to find that decisive tactical blow, which after rook d4 and rook g4 led to disaster after bishop h6. My dear chess friends, that would be all about that game. I hope you could learn a lot from that remarkable game, from that real masterpiece performed by Garry Kasparov. Don't neglect development, go for development, activate pieces as fast as you can, go for castling as fast as you can, and then strike with your activated pieces and go for collaborating with your pieces. If opponent delays the castling, if opponent delays the development or neglects development at all, as happened in that game, you should go for opening position, increasing your mobility of your pieces, and opening position for activation of all your troops. You should go for initiative, not allowing your opponent to take breath and strike in some proper moment, as Garry Kasparov did in that game with knight f6. Once again, I want to thank you for supporting us. I hope you enjoy our videos and you will support us in the future, enjoy our future lessons as well. I wish you so many victories in your future careers, victories like this performed by Garry Kasparov, and see you soon with new examples. Bye bye, dear chess friends.